Hello and welcome to another episode of Amputee Outdoors. Today I'm just taking a nice stroll in the famous Pacific Northwest drizzle. And I figured this is an excellent day to show you my rainfly. Now I got a Gnarwhal rainfly which I've modified slightly. I'm going to get down to the meadow down the bottom of this hill here and set that up and show you how I've modified it and why I've modified it. So, oh hey, you know what? I'm also going to talk about these hiking poles I've got with me. Something I mentioned in one of my other videos. I'll probably include a link to that video. In fact, if I can, I'll put it right down right there. Hopefully the video shows up right there, and you can check that out as well. Alright, so let's get down the hill and get my rainfly set up. Alright, so working my way down the trail. I just want to talk a little bit about the hiking poles I got with me today and my essentials pack. I think in a previous video I said that I used 1.5 inch doweling. It's actually 1 inch doweling, and this is actually a stave for a shovel. Got a hole drilled in there, piece of rope wrapped in leather, and at the ends there, don't know if you can see that, but we got some washers and a bolt in there to keep the ends from cracking and splitting and giving me a little more traction into the soil. And I've also got with me my essentials bag. Even when I do a day hike, I take my essentials bag. For people in general, it's always a good idea to have an essentials bag, the 10 essentials that the Boy Scouts are famous for. You can look it up online, make your list, have it with you. For us amputees, it's a very special thing to have because we do run the risk of taking a trip or a fall. Now, with the hiking sticks, that risk is greatly reduced. I mean, last time I went hiking with my son, he tripped and fell twice. I didn't fall once, didn't even trip because of the hiking poles. I'll do another video sometime on the proper use of hiking poles, how to set them for the correct height for you, how to use them going uphill, how to use them going downhill, and things like that. Okay? So the essentials bag, always have it with you. You know what those 10 essentials are. You can look it up online, get one put together for yourself, and always bring it along. Okay? Alright, I'm going to get further on down the trail here, get down to the meadow, and I'll see you down there. Well, here we are. We made it down to the meadow, and I've got a couple of trees here. About 30 feet distance between these two, which is usually more than you want to work with. I'm using this 30-foot gap here to kind of show the depth that you can go in terms of setting up your rainfly. You don't necessarily have to get yourself that perfect length of 10 to 15 feet or something like that. If you got the setup done right, 30 feet, you can still work with that. Now, this is the Gnarwhal rainfly. I got this on Amazon, and really good rainfly. I like the fact that it comes with instructions on how to put it together right there on the bag. But after the first couple of uses, I completely ignored those instructions and kind of did my own modifications. Now, if there's someone from Gnarwhal watching this, I do apologize for modding your rainfly, but I have very good reasons for that, for doing so. And once I've got this set up, I'll go through those reasons, and hopefully you won't be too upset with me. Okay. So let's get going here. First thing is we're going to set up a ridge line. Now, right away, again, if you know Gnarwhal, you know that this is not the typical ridge line. This is some bright yellow 550 paracord. I love paracord. And I've got on the end here, carabiner. Could someone look up online and see how that's pronounced? And in the comments section, tell me how I'm supposed to pronounce carabiner, carabiner. That'd be great. Appreciate it. Thanks. So, bow line right at the end here, carabiner. I'm just going to put it around one of these branches here. And don't worry, when I've got this all set up, I'll go through all the details with you, like I did before with that hammock video I did. Yeah, same branch. There we go. All right, that's my ridge line set up. Now I'm going to get out the rainfly. I like these rainflies from Gnarwhal, very light, it's waterproof, excellent material, really rugged material, beautifully sewn together, double stitching all along the edges, great stuff. So they come with these carabiners here. I'm going to hook one of these onto a prusik knot. Now I've got this rigged up with a couple of prusiks. When I first put up the ridge line, it was a little tight, but not very tight. It didn't have to be very tight. Prusik knots and the tarp itself is what gives me that rigid, straight line going across there, okay? So now I'm going to set up the spikes, and I'm going to be using my hiking poles to help me out with this and give myself a little more headroom. So let's do that part now. And yes, the Gnarwhal does come with spikes and a little bag to put them into. I always carry one extra with me because I work with the Boy Scouts a lot, and quite often a Boy Scout will forget that that essential thing, stakes with their tent or their rainfly. That's one side done. Now what I will typically do, if it's windy, I'll put the low side towards the wind. Now you can rig this up high or low depending upon your conditions. If the weather's not so bad, it's just drizzling like it is right now, you're not anticipating a lot of rain, you can have it set pretty high and give yourself some headroom. If it's very windy, it's a torrential downpour, rig the tarp down lower so the wind doesn't get underneath you so much, okay? All right. Now for the holes. on. And that's the other. All right, so now I've got it set up. I'm gonna change the camera angle here a little bit, turn that thing around and show you some of the details, and I'll talk about why I'm using the line that I'm using, the setup that I'm using, instead of what comes with the Gnarwhal out of the box. Again, I apologize to folks at Gnarwhal if you're watching this. I have good reasons. I'll go through them. Just hang on a second. All right, so you see the carabiner just clips on there, makes a nice little loop going around the tree up there. Okay, come down here to your standard prusik knot, hook to there. Okay, the prusik knot pulls along here, makes it nice and tight, and as you can see, this part of the ridge line is actually pretty loose, but the tarp itself is nice and tight. Okay, because the tension is from here to here and along the ridge line instead of along this ridge line. Now you're probably wondering, for some of you might look at this like, well, why don't you just make this tight and put your tarp over the ridge line, and then you don't have to bother with a prusik knot? There's a reason for that. Water coming down here is going to come down here, drip, 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 drip off this, or get to the end and drip off this here. Okay? If I have this ridge line underneath the tarp down in here, the water will come down that ridge line, down in here, reach a low point somewhere in the middle, and drip on me, which I don't want, of course. So this is why you have the ridge line go over the tarp, not under the tarp. All right, let's go look at the other side here. Around this branch, and this is a very special little carabiner here, carabiner, whatever. Loops around there, goes through here. I pull it tight, wrap it around one more time, and just tie it off here, just so it's not in the way. Okay. This carabiner I got at Home Depot, I think, Lowe's. I know you can get them online at Amazon or something like that. You can get a good view of that, so you can maybe find that online. I forget what the brand name is, but they've got a little cam here that tightens down on the 550 paracord and holds it tight. When I'm done, I want to release. I just pull this out and it releases, and I've got all the slack I need, and I can undo the whole thing and just unclip it from here. Okay. Now let's go over to the standard kind of taut line hitch here. There you go. There's the taut line knot and my stake or spike in the ground. And this is rigged pretty low here, as you can see. Same thing on the other side. Let's go around to the other side here now. I got my hiking pole. You can do this with the ski poles or whatever kind of pole you have. Wrapped around here just to hold it tight. Pulls down here. And again, down to another taut line hitch, which makes the line taut. Ha, yeah. A little camping humor. It's not very good, is it? That's why I'm not in a stand-up comedian kind of job. So the nice thing is, when I've got my hammock here, I've got some room. I can sit here and I can do my cooking right here, and I can see out and enjoy the scenery, and I'm not completely closed in. I don't like being completely closed in. Now, for a lot of people, going out camping in the rain in a tent means that the first thing you're setting up is your tent, and if it's raining, your tent gets wet, and then you put the rainfly over your now wet tent. With hammock camping, it goes the other way around. First you put up your rainfly here, then you put your hammock underneath. So when you're setting up your hammock and all your gear, you're operating in a nice dry environment. Much better than getting everything soaking wet. Okay. All right, so I think those are all the details I wanted to show you. Now let's talk about why I'm using this blue line and this bright yellow line. Now the Gnarwhal, it comes with a black thin line which is very, very tough, and it's got reflective material sewn into it, which is excellent. I love it. However, it's black and it's thin, and even in the daytime you cannot see it. If it's just a little bit overcast like it is today, that stuff's near about invisible. So I swapped it all out with some bright blue, bright yellow, and bright green 550 paracord so I could see it. On one of the camping trips we had a couple of scouts tripping over the line. I tripped over the line because I couldn't see it. And if you're an amputee and you trip over something, that's not good. One of the big things, of course, is that a foot, when it comes to something like this, will tilt down like that, so you don't trip so easily. With a prosthetic foot, you don't have that option, and it just gets caught, and boom, down you go. So I traded these out for these brightly colored pieces of 550, so it'd be easier to see. All right, I think that's all I need to tell you about my tarp setup here, or rainfly setup. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and let me just get this turned around again and set up, and I'll do my farewell and subscribe spiel for you. Hang on now. All right, well, thank you for joining me again in Amputee Outdoors and my rainfly setup. In a subsequent video, I think I'll do the whole setup: rainfly, my backpack where I put that, the hammock, sleep system. Do it all so you can see how it all goes together. Right now it's just the rainfly. So if you have any questions or comments, or maybe, you know, hey Glenn, you shouldn't mess with the system like this because now the warranty's void. Yeah, the warranty's void, I know. Put them down in the comments section. If you have your own rainfly that you've put together, a DIY kind of thing, which I also have, and I'll do in another video as well. It's bigger and more foreboding looking. But if you've got one that you've done, tell me about it in the comments section. I'd like to hear about it. If you've got some suggestions about how to improve this setup, I'd like to hear about those as well. So get down there in the comments section and let me know about them. And the button that says see more in the comment in the description, where it says see more, click on that and you'll find some links to where you can get this rainfly, some 550 paracord, the carabiners that are used, things like that. And of course, in the subscription button there, click on that, subscribe, and then you'll get some updates when I put in some new videos. And also check out my channel, Amputee Outdoors. So thank you for joining me today, and I'm going to enjoy this drizzle under my tarp here, have a little snack, have a cup of tea perhaps, and then I'll head on home. Thanks again for joining me. Hope to see you out on the trail.